Hello, welcome back. This is Kaylee with Kaylee's Household, where I talk about all things home behaviors, home technologies, and maybe a little bit of home drama. But today's video, I want to talk about emotional intelligence and especially in the home, in the kitchen space. Let's get right into it. So, I have graduated from finishing school. And although I have graduated from a finishing school, in which I'm very proud to be an alumni of, and would love to help and support many other women who want the same in their lives, the same balance, the same peace, the same order. It does really start in the kitchen for women personally, in the things that I've seen. Now, in the kitchen, it does, all of our mothers a lot of times claim that space. And I can't be mad at that because the kitchen is a very feminine space. However, I do see a pattern of behavior when women or modern women, we haven't been taught that when we enter a space, even if it's ours, even if we do live there, to share that space. I think there's something within us that wants to claim spaces, and we see this in reality TV, right, where the women enter into a new home and everybody's running and going to pick their room like right away, like claim that your space. That's a very instinctual thing for us to do as women, and that's out of safety. I do think that we do that out of safety. But when we are in a space that we are controlling the mood, which is our home or a family home or a friend's home, emotional intelligence comes into play really big time. And clearly, I'm not really good at words. So thank you for following me on that sentence. I just want to share how finishing school helped me understand the value of having emotional intelligence, especially in the kitchen can be a chaotic space in a lot of homes. And one thing that the finishing school taught me is that nobody wants to be around chaos. Life is hard enough. The world is hard enough. And I see lots of big families, and I love big families. I love when there's because sometimes there is chaos, but it's like chaotic love, if that makes sense, instead of chaotic chaos. And so we want to decipher the difference in what we're creating in the home or what we're adding to the home that we're entering as young women or women in general. And so there's important body language that I think, and the way that we move within a home, especially the kitchen, is so important as a woman, not to dominate the kitchen as bad as we want to look. I am guilty of this. So I am guilty of being an avid believer that the indoor kitchen does belong to the woman of the home and the outdoor kitchen belongs to man of the home. And I have many reasons for that, but we all are still sharing a home and or sharing a space, and the kitchen is the number one shared space for guests when we're hosting or just in general when we are interacting with our family or the people that we live with. So emotional intelligence is extremely important in the kitchen. As I talk about, we don't want to be encroach on somebody's space when they're working or working on something, unless they are welcoming us into that space in some way, shape, or form. So there was so many ways in which I was taught and learned and continue to implement ways of embracing my feminine elegance within the home, which I believe is the first place where we should be embracing our feminine elegance. And that is reading the energy. So when we enter a kitchen, if someone's in there, like, what is their energy? Are they tense? Are they getting ready for work? Are they, there's a very vulnerable thing about being in the kitchen. And there's something very exposing about it. I think it's just the preparation of food, the resources, gathering, it's all out. We're trying to put things, together for us to literally sustain our lives. So it's a very vulnerable place and there's like a primal thing in our minds that sometimes it's like, there's a little bit of food guarding that happens. If you notice with dogs, some dogs are food aggressive. If you are approaching them or you're close to them and they're eating, you give people space to eat. I like to do that same thing in kitchens, no matter if someone doesn't care or they don't care. I care. So I care that I'm not encroaching on their space and I'm reading their energy. Are they tired? Are they sad? Are they happy? A lot of times, sometimes the kitchen I've seen discussions with couples. I've noticed like in soap operas or telenovelas, as the Spanish community likes to call it, they take place in the kitchen because the kitchen is a vulnerable place. And so I say all that to say that it's very important to have emotional intelligence in general, but where to start in order to restore any sense of order or peace within the home, I do would encourage you to start in the kitchen and just leading with empathy and compassion and noting the moods of the people when they're in the kitchen. It's a space of vulnerability, but it can also be a space where we can practice much grace and elegance and have conversations, with and practice etiquette and things like that. So, just something I wanted to share. There's so much more that we can learn about emotional intelligence and etiquette in general that we can directly apply to our behavior in the home. And if you would like to learn more about that, I will include the link in the description, the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, in which I've completed a couple of years ago with Maggie, the substitute teacher. And so I'm a proud alumni. And if you want 10% off the upcoming class of winter of 25, go ahead and enroll now. Use my code Kaylee to get 10% off, and you will learn emotional intelligence, etiquette, and all types of very valuable things along your journey of womanhood, sisterhood, wifehood, daughterhood, neighborhood, kitchenhood, whatever you want to call it. But thank you for listening and watching and being a house friend. And that's what I'm here for. So may peace be with you and enter and exit with you in all the homes that you have the pleasure of getting to be a part of. Peace be with you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.